नमस्कार. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया. Today I am going to talk on Bhaja Govindam, which is a text written by Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya's text can be classified into three categories. One of them is the Bhashya, which is the commentary. One of them is the Strotam, which is the devotional hymns. And the third one is the Prakarana Grantha, that is talking about the manual, the Vedic treatise and the Vedic manual to understand the deeper degrees. Bhaja Govindam falls under both the Strotam because it is a devotional to the Govinda, that is the Lord, and also it has a lot of the Advaita, that is the non-duality, which is its significance. तो इस वीडियो में आज हम लोग दो तीन श्लोक्स के ऊपर बात करेंगे एंड ऑल्सो द एसेंस ऑफ इट. इट हैज टोटल 31 वर्ड्स एंड लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड बिफोर वी गेट इनटू one or two slokas what actually it is talking about. Bhaja is worship or seeking the Govinda, that is the Lord, and the original text actually is called the moha mudgara. Moha is the delusion that you all human beings tends to develop over a period of time, and mudgara is hammering, is trying to really break it apart, because in our due course of life we tend to develop a lot of false belief or mistaken concept and a false perception that everything is real, everything is me, everything is myself, everything is mine. But ultimately, once we go and as we age in our life, we understand that things are loosening up, things that doesn't belongs to me, and we have less of ashakta, the less of attachment, and we are getting much more loosened up. But of course, by the time we are 60 or even 65 or even more than that, many people don't develop that. Some people who are young tends to develop that. So these texts are a fantastic text that was developed in those early period with so much of relevance and its profundity. And of course, it has the neurological connection with respect to modern day research. Neurological research says that we have something to do with that is default mode network, or it is DMN. And this default mode network basically talks about that we ruminate over the past, we tend to cling to the past, that is Abhinivesh, and we cling to life. And we have the faulty system in our thinking process, and we don't tend to really change it. And this Bhaja Govindam or Moha Mudgara is a fantastic hammering. We find that, yes, this is mine, so there's a hammering. No, this is not yours. So there's a higher reality. And a constant hammering is required. And each of these 31 verse is fantastic because this actually gives us to the reality. Now, it was Adi Shankaracharya was there in the 8th century, it has been considered. And he was in his way, in one of his pilgrimage in Varanasi with several of his disciples. And he saw that a very old person is just trying to memorize some of the complex Sanskrit grammar. And he was in his twilight days of his life. And that old person was trying to just memorize without knowing the insights, without knowing to understand the meaning. And it was Adi Shankaracharya being saying that he composed this verse, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudha Mate, Samapratya Sannitha Kale, Nahi Rakshita Dukaran Karane. So it is talking about that Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudha Mate. Mudha Mate is you foolish, and you are trying to memorize the complex grammar, and in the end, Samapratya Sannita Kale, Nahi Rakshita Dukaran Karane, in your end of your life, this memorization will not actually help you. So let's understand its meaning, maybe quite at a very broad level, that we are trying to memorize, we are trying to grasp, we are trying to acquire, we are trying to possess, we are trying to hoard, and we think that this is real, but ultimately that is not real. So it is something more is real. So it is trying to really make us understand that, trying to seek the divine, and that is something which is going to really help you. So basically, the very memorization talks about that we are not trying to understand and we are mechanical. Memorization talks about mechanical. Rather, what actually I interpret is that deeper understanding and ontological way of our being into the life is more required than just acquiring, hoarding, possessing, and more into consumption. So it is not memory that matters, it is understanding and realization that matters. This is one. Verse number 7 talks about that Val Avastha Krida Shakt, Tarun Avastha Taruni Shakt, Vriddha Avastha Chinta Shakt, Parame Brahme Kopina Shakt, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Now again, this is a beautiful verse number 7, which says that when we are young, we're all having a lot of attachment to the games and toys, kira, and that is so natural in our life. We all evolve, we all grow, and then once we are adolescent, Tarun Avastha Taruni Shakt, that means we get attracted to the woman. It is kama, and it is attraction, it is sensuality. And once we are grown, we become old, we have a lot of chinta about my family, chinta about my sons and daughters, chinta about my whatever is there in terms of my property and anything that belongs to me. But nobody is trying to understand Parame Brahme Kopina Shakt. Parame is the ultimate, that is the reality. What is the reality made out of? That we are not trying to really delve into. Parame Brahme Kopina Shakt. So Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. So here actually we understand that there is an element of a non-duality. Brahma, we have Jiva, we have Jagat, and we have the Brahma, and also we have something to do with the Bhakti. So in this particular text of Bhaja Govindam or Moha Mudgara, we are trying to really understand both the dimension of Bhakti and also the Advaita. I think that is something which is very, very unique, because it actually gets into that I love my Lord and I have a Bhakti, but at the same time, through that, I'm able to really cut through the clutter of life and understand that oneness. And I think that is the beauty of this particular text, Parame Brahme, because ultimately that is something that actually we are trying to achieve. So Adi Shankaracharya, of course, is into a non-duality, and non-duality is one of the most cutting-edge subject and studies that is getting into the consciousness studies. I will take one more verse, that is verse number 21, which is so popular. It says that Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jatares Sayanam, Es Samsare Bahut Dustare Kripa Pare Pahi Murare, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. I believe that when we recite the word called Bhaja Govindam, our heart melts. We get so attracted and we get so much induced to the ultimate. So one side we are talking about logic, one side we are talking about rationality, and another side we are trying to really understand that ultimately it is the Bhakti Bhav and it is the love for the God, love for the Ishta Devata, or any devotee, any higher up that we get attracted to make so much of a difference. So this particular verse says that Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. So we keep on taking birth, we keep on taking, of course we die, we move away from our mortal body. Punarapi Janani Jatare Sayanam. We are also going to get a new mother once we get a new life. And Janani Jatare Sayanam, we are going to really again be there in the womb for 9 months. Samsara is all about deficiency, because Nirvana is something about sufficiency. And we are moving from sufficiency to the deficiency, because you're already sufficient, but we are unable to understand, but because you are deluded. Adi Shankaracharya is trying to really hammer that. E samsare bahut dustare. So it's a journey and you have to really go a long path. And kripya pare, because of your infinite blessings, pahi murare. So destroy the very mura. So that is, we are trying to really understand that we have so much of longings and belongings. And this, the demon is something that is not outside, it is actually inside. Most of our suffering is actually in our imagination. And once you are able to correct this imagination, we correct our thinking, we correct our life, we correct our thinking, we correct our very way of our being. So as you think, so you become, and that is very popularly known. So, but the process is not so easy. It is layer by layer that we have got deluded, we got eluded, and so much of default mode network is got wired to a system, because we are wired for wanting, we are not wired for liking. Because I have everything and I enjoy everything, I am sufficient. Rather we see that I am deficient, I don't have so many things. I want a big car, I want a more beautiful house, I need to have a better place to be on. But whatever I have in front of me, they are so beautiful. Can I move from wanting to liking? And that is the being state. Because life is in a cycle, life is a samsara, and we move on from one being to the next being. But in the process of being, we are not becoming in terms of a maturity. So beingness is something which is immature, and we are trying to become more immature. Rather, this particular text is hammering our very delusion. So like this, there are 31 verses, and this, as you go one by one verse, each verse will open up and it will reveal your mind that there is so much to understand the better realities of life, and stay tuned to the very way of life we are trying to understand the higher reality. So the reality can be pratibhashika, which is an imagination. It can be Vyavaharika, we generally understand in terms of our day-to-day life. But ultimately, the ultimate reality is something which is to do with the Pramarthika, which is the ultimate reality. And this particular text called Moha Mudgara, which is popularly known as Bhaja Govindam, is actually a way, a path, a distinction in terms of wake-up call. Hey, wake up! And Utho Jago. So arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. It is there in the Kathopanishad, and Swami Vivekananda quote this several times actually. So this is a text which is, I would say, a living manual. It is a living text. It has a text to be read, to be interpreted, and to be understood, and to be taken inside, and to be lived. Thank you. Stay tuned. Do comment on my video. Do like and do share my videos. And I'll be coming up with more such videos. Thank you. Namaskar.